What's up, everybody? It's Ryan from Roll to Hit. Today's episode, we're going to be closing out our time in Port Nyanzaru. We're doing Tomb of Annihilation. This is the Dungeon Master's guide to my guide to running Tomb of Annihilation. So these videos are for Dungeon Masters, not for players. Just get the disclaimer out of the way. So if you're following along in the series, you know that the past couple of episodes I've been talking about my group and kind of what I've been doing with my group in Port Nyanzaru. They've spent, I need to actually look at this, I think we've spent about 5 or 6 sessions in Port Nyanzaru alone. So I guess my first lesson learned there is just make sure you're reading the room on how much time your group is spending in the city. Certainly there's a whole jungle in Chult to go adventure in, and they may be getting a little antsy. I think my group is getting a little antsy, to be honest, to kind of get on with it and kind of get into the jungle. I think there was enough buildup though, enough anticipation, and enough sort of just building supplies and inventory and gathering intel that needed to happen in Port Nyanzaru to kind of get them prepared for a successful adventure into the jungle. Now, having said all that, as a dungeon master and you know your group, maybe you hand wave some gold accumulation, or maybe you start them at a slightly higher level, or maybe you go ahead and just tell them, like, here's your box of supplies you're going to need for the jungle. I like to have my players interact with NPCs, particularly in a city like this, so that they can learn these things. And sometimes they pick up on things, sometimes they miss things. There's clues that are dropped. There's different things that can happen, and it's also a part of the adventure. To be honest, I mean, Port Nyanzaru is a crazy cool place, so why not enjoy that? And so with that, this episode, I really wanted to talk a little bit more about the side quests that are available in Port Nyanzaru, which will really dictate the amount of time that your players spend there. I folded side quests into the overall goal of having them kind of get enough gold to be able to buy what they need to then get on into the jungle, and as well as to spend enough time talking to people to get enough clues that I think they need. So this episode is going to be talking more about the side quests as well as kind of the guides. Those are the last 2 bits, and then in the next episode I think we're going to be going into the jungle. So let me get to the side quests. All right, so we're here taking a look at side quests. You can obviously roll a d10. There's 10 of them here in the book. I've just got the online version of the book up for you to take a look at. There's 10 of them there that book gives you. And I like to read ahead on these side quests just to say, kind of based on what looks like it might be fun or what looks like it might make sense with what the group has been doing. Which one of these is going to be kind of the cool side quest for them to go after. And in this particular case, I just picked the first one because I saw 500 gold possibility, well, some percentage of that anyways, collecting a debt, as well as an opportunity to get into some combat with a pretty difficult opponent to get some XP, build up their characters, and advance in levels. And so I folded this collected debt side quest into our session, but there's a lot more. So the second one is created distraction at Port Beluarian. That's a lot of vowels. I don't know, I have kind of steered clear of this fort. It's north of Port Nyanzaru on the map. There's some stuff going on at the fort. It just seems like, as far as side quests go, it might be a little bit of a bridge too far to start pulling in stuff, at least for my campaign, from the things going on in that fort. There are other side quests which definitely take them into the jungle. Escort a priest to Camp Vengeance, explore the Aldani Basin, find this non-player character named Artist Simber. Those are sort of taking them out of the city This is a side quest within the city as well, similar to what I picked, collecting a dead up here. This is to help a dyer, a person who works in the works as a dye master. I don't know what that word is. Cute play on words here. Help a dying man. Help the Lord's Alliance, which is one of the factions that could possibly take them out of the city and into the jungle. Hunt pirates. That's going to keep them around Port Nyanzaru, but you're going to be dealing with, you know, the harbor master again, Zendar, and some other. A lot of opportunity to make a lot of money with this, but that could be its own probably side quest. I mean, its own little mini campaign. Save an innocent man, and then seek wisdom at Oralunga. So again, I think Oralunga is going to be one of those that takes you out of the city as well. So some of these side quests are kind of launching pads into the jungle. So there's those 10, and actually, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got the really cool, courtesy of my buddy Mark, really cool DM screen here. There's also some other encounters in the DM screen that it says roll a d20, but really it's another 10 encounters, and 11 through 20 is CV's 10, so it's 10 plus 10. But some of these aren't really side quests necessarily. That are on the DM screen. Actually, maybe I'll take a picture and put it up here so you can see them. And it's just tiny, but things like you know, a parrot poops on somebody's head. Haha, funny stuff, good stuff actually. That's it. That's the encounter. So it's really, you know, some low-level stuff like that. Some other of these little encounters which I think are interesting are, and I did use one of these, in fact, in our last session. I had a beggar grab one of our characters and mumble what seemed like some incoherent ramblings on a forbidden city and snake men and this and that, and have him just stumble off. But there could be something to that, actually. This forbidden city gives birth to a terrible new god. The snake men know, they know. And then he stumbles away. And then some other person in the city is like, don't pay no attention to him. His predictions are, you know, wrong most of the time. Not like that, most of the time. So somebody tries to pick a pocket, and actually the 10th one is the characters run into Voltham Gadarm, which already had my characters run into Bolo earlier without even knowing that was really on there. So anyways, those are the side quests. Hope that gives you a sense of kind of how expansive you can make this Port Nyanzaru section, this first chapter, chapter 1, out of the whole adventure. Again, read the room, kind of see how are folks feeling. Do they want to get going? And I think our guys, my group is ready to get going. So in the next session, they will buy what they need, hire a guide, and get on the way. Hiring a guide is the next piece of this. What I did, and I'll just show you the guides here. So there's a group of guides. These are for the Dungeon Master. This tells you kind of the behind the scenes. Again, lots of spoilers here. So this tells you behind the scenes what's the real story with the guides. What I did is I went ahead and, for the ones that were in Port Nyanzaru, so there's guides that are out of Fort Beleriand, and there are guides out of Port Nyanzaru. I steered clear of these because, like I said, we're not really going towards Fort Beleriand. We're still in Port Nyanzaru. So I pared it down to the guides from Port Nyanzaru. And then even within that, I had some guides that were sort of on the approved list from the city denizen who's in charge of guides. The merchant prince, who is Jabal. Jabal deals in guides and sells swords. So Jabal has some guides that are on the good list, but there are some guides that are off the books as well. And so I kind of had a few of them that were Jabal approved, and then a couple off the books, and I actually sent the players the information. So the book will give you these cutouts that you can send the players. Let me go back to it if it'll go. Let's see, Tomb of Annihilation. They're going to be in the player handout section of the book. And the guides in the book, sorry for this going so slow, so it gives you this type of a handout, so which is really cool, and so it gives you what the players would need to see. So let's just take this first one, Azeka Stormfang. You need a guide to get through the jungle alive. Look no further. I was born in the jungle. I know its dangers well and how best to avoid them. Should you choose me, you may rest assured that your party's in safe hands. And then you get kind of what she charges, 5 gold a day, 30-day payment up front. But see, check this little extra. For those who aid me in a personal quest, she will waive her fee and guide them to places no one else has found. In this case, Firefinger, there's Terrafolk there that roost atop this Firefinger, which stole a wooden mask from her, and she wants it back. So if you'll help her with that, she'll waive the fee. Okay, but going back to the chapter, there's the real story behind the scenes of what's going on with Azeka, why she really wants the wooden mask back. And you know, you can sort of play that as a role-playing opportunity as well as a dungeon master playing Azeka. You know her real motivation. Same with Iku, same with everybody. They have their own real motivations. Here's what I learned. So I sent these to my players in our Discord server. So if you just right-click Save As, but if you just look at this image, what's missing from this image? You have no idea who this is. There's no name on the image. The image file has the name, but if you just save the image and then send it, and when they click it, there's nothing, there's nothing there. So what I did is I went to a Paint app and just added their names underneath to each of the ones that I was sending out, so that they would put a face with a name and their sort of sales pitch. So in the next session, they're going to pick the guide they want from this list of guides, and they've already gotten a few hints on things like they might need, such as the insect repellent, for example. So they kind of know now that there's more than just your regular player's handbook items that would be good to have before going into the jungle. They need a water catcher of some sort so they can drink potable water. They need, a special type of insect repellent, otherwise they risk disease when they get into the jungle. So those are things they're going to have to actually either get information from their guides to zero them in, or take the risk. And I think I've probably dropped enough hints that they're going to be in good shape. I think my D&D Beyond is frozen. There we go. Okay. And that's all in this chapter 1. So once they get through with chapter 1, they begin to go into the jungle. And for my players, they're ready. The characters, I think, are ready. I've leveled them up to level 3 now after their fight with the gladiator, using the side quest to collect a debt. They leveled up. One of our players did go down to 0 hit points and had to start rolling death saving throws against this gladiator, but fortunately there's enough healers in the group that they were able to stabilize him, get him back up, and he was able to continue on with the attack. So I think that'll conclude Port Nyanzaru. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below, or suggestions of things that worked for you as a dungeon master when you were running this. I'm really interested to hear how things kind of went, particularly if y'all went to Fort Bellarune. I kind of read that and was like, how does that really piece in? Let me grab the map real quick and just kind of show you. I'll just use the player's map real quick to show you kind of why I was kind of struggling a bit with. So here we are in Port Nyanzaru. Fort Bellarune is way up here. And so, that's a lot of hexes just to even get up there. So You know, I was thinking, do you hex crawl through all of this, cross the river? I mean, a hex is, according to the adventure, should take the players a day to get through. I mean, you're gonna be rolling random encounters. It just seems like a lot of churn to get up here, and I couldn't really, at least for me, I couldn't see kind of the return on that investment of going to further away from the heart of the jungle, where obviously the source of the death curse resides, you know, somewhere out here in one of these empty hexes. So that's why. But so if you did do this fort, you know, let me know kind of how you work that in. I'd be curious to hear that. If you are interested in this series, please ring the bell. Most of my videos for the near future are going to be about my running of Tomb of Annihilation here for my group. So if you're interested in this as something to kind of spark ideas for your own campaign, please ring the bell. You'll be given a notice when I upload. I'm trying to upload every Thursday, probably every Thursday morning. And like and subscribe to the channel. You know, as the channel grows again, then, you know, more folks can kind of participate in this Dungeons and Dragons conversation, and we can all learn from each other and become better dungeon masters and hopefully more engaged players with really fun games to tell our friends about. So with that, thanks, and we'll see you next time.